I heard her laughter before I saw her. That sound, light, unguarded, the same laugh that once made me fall in love, came pouring from the passenger seat of a car I didn't recognize. And then I saw him, the driver, her ex, the same man she swore was nothing but the past. They pulled out of our driveway. Her head tipped back, laughing like the world had returned something she'd been missing. And there I stood, rooted on the porch, a coffee mug trembling in my hands, the one I had made for her. Steam curled upward, mocking me for still believing in the warmth of us. For a fleeting second, I tried to justify it. Maybe it was innocent. Maybe it just stopped by. Maybe she was only being polite. But then I saw her hand brush his arm before they disappeared down the street. That small touch told me the truth I'd been refusing to see. The signs had been there, small enough for me to sweep aside. The late nights at work. The sudden urge to hit the gym. Her phone always glued to her hand, angled away from me. I kept insisting she was stressed, that she needed space, that marriage had its quiet seasons. But at night, when I reached for her, she'd already be turned away, feigning sleep. That empty space between us had been stretching for months, and I filled it with excuses instead of questions. Now, standing barefoot on the porch with coffee dripping down my toes, I finally understood the silence I'd ignored had grown into betrayal. When she came home hours later, she didn't bother to hide it. Her hair was tousled, makeup smudged. But it wasn't shame that lingered on her face. It was defiance. "Where were you?" My voice shook, sharp but fragile. She shrugged, tossing her bag onto the couch. "Out with him." That name on my lips made her falter for a heartbeat, a flicker of guilt passing across her features. Then it hardened. "Yes, with him. And before you ask, no, I'm not sorry." The room closed in on me. I clung to the counter just to stay upright. "Why?" I whispered. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't even sound angry. Her tone was calm, almost rehearsed. "Because with him, I feel alive again. With you, it's just safety, stability, routine. That isn't enough for me anymore." Her words sliced deeper than any scream could have. I wanted to fight, to beg, to remind her the life we built, the vows we made, the mornings with pancakes and laughter, the nights planning our future. But the truth hit me then, heavy and undeniable. She had already left me long before she walked out the door with him. "You've been planning this," I murmured. She didn't deny it. I didn't mean for it to happen. But when I saw him again, everything I thought I'd buried came back. My stomach turned. Every kiss, every promise, every "I love you" suddenly felt like a lie she'd been feeding us both. That night, while she slept in the guest room, I sat in the dark with our prenuptial agreement spread out before me. My lawyer had once called it a shield you hope you'll never use. I'd signed reluctantly, believing love was stronger than legal documents. But reading it now, my anger hardened into something colder, sharper. The house, the one I bought before her, was mine, protected. If she destroyed the marriage with infidelity, she walked away empty-handed. The contract was crystal clear. For the first time since watching her drive off with him, I felt control return to my hands. The next night, she didn't come home. I sat at the dining table staring at the untouched dinner I had made out of habit. Each tick of the clock hammered another nail into our marriage's coffin. When she finally returned, her perfume was heavy, her lipstick smeared faintly. She looked at me like I was the outsider in her life, not him. "I don't want to fight anymore," she said flatly. "I'm leaving." Something inside me broke, but I didn't let it show. Instead, I slid the prenup across the table. "Read this. You leave, you take nothing. The house is mine. Every cent I invested stays mine. That's what you signed." Her face drained of color. She hadn't expected me to fight back like this. "You wouldn't." "I already did. I cut in. While you were out laughing with him, I called my lawyer. The papers are being filed tomorrow. The house is already on the market. You won't get to keep a piece of the life you try to throw away." Her mouth opened, then closed. For once, she had no words. She packed in silence. No begging, no apologies, just the sound of her leaving. When the door clicked shut behind her, the house felt cavernous, like even the walls were mourning. I walked through each room that night. The paint colors we chose together, the couch we'd fallen asleep on, the bedroom that now felt like a tomb. But beneath the grief, something steadier began to grow. I wasn't powerless anymore. Yes, I'd been betrayed, but I refused to let her betrayal dictate the rest of my life. Weeks later, the house sold. I signed the papers with steady hands, the ink soaking into the page. She had expected to take half of everything, to cushion her new life with what we had built. Instead, she walked away with nothing but her choices. And me. I walked into a new beginning. Not clean, not painless, but mine. I'll never forget the sound of her laughter as she drove away with him. But I'll also never forget the silence that followed. The silence that taught me how to stand, how to fight, and how to let go. Because sometimes the cruelest betrayals carve the sharpest freedoms. And as I closed the door on a house I no longer owned, I whispered to myself. She left laughing, but I stayed standing,